things that seem incredibly powerful at one moment become not so powerful. And not to mention, of course, a lot of runecrafts were banned. Runecraft lists were banned today.
Oh, absolutely.
But we have barely seen Daria at all.
Yeah, there's been Daria, Burn Runecraft, Neutral Runecraft. People are bringing Runecraft, but it's not all Daria, which again is like, what are you talking about? Everybody's talking about nerf Daria all over everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Reddit streams, all that kind of stuff. And it's not even played in all the decks today.
Oh, so beautiful. Both Trickster and Griffin has their webcams out like Jordan in the last game. Thank you very much, guys, for offering to have your beautiful faces put on screen. We enjoy seeing kind of the emotions behind the players.
Absolutely.
And putting faces to the names.
Plus, you get Vials, don't forget. So if you give us that info and you get up on stream, you get those 1,000 extra Vials.
1,000?
1,000.
What can you do with 1,000 Vials, Exo?
You can work your way towards getting that brand new spiffy legendary you've been working on. Or you can buy yourself a gold card that you're missing.
What gold or legendary card would you get if you had the Vials too, right now?
I only want animated cards, and I still want a play set, and by play set I mean 3, of course, of the old man Levi. I don't care if he's only unlimited now. I need my animated set.
Old man Levi.
That's right. I have
old man.
I told you I buy 1,000,000 packs of this game. Okay, like legit 1,000,000 packs. Still don't have any of the cool leaders, but I do have all of the legendaries and golds that I need for this game.
One day Exo will get the leader.
One day.
He'll let us know when he does.
Yeah. Senpai needs to whale me some more so I can try to get these leaders. That's what I need.
Whale him. Aya, where are you?
All right, and it looks like Trickster's starting off with a rather good curve here. So if we're talking about these Vengeance Blood decks that we've been seeing, or really Aggro Blood in general against the Dragoncraft decks, can Dragoncraft put enough defense early in order to stop the aggressive lines? Cards like Lightning Blast.
Yeah, he's
not
got
the
Lightning
cards
Blast.
You want to see though.
He's got it. But what do you remove for 6? I mean, this is the classic thing about it, right? Your opponent has a bunch of 2-cost, 3-cost followers. Are you going to really spend a Lightning Blast to take down one of them?
Yeah. It's rough.
You know what they should do?
So rough.
Actually, what they should do is they should add like an additional effect on Lightning Blast that just takes out the whole
Oh, is that what they should do? Oh, okay. So, Rainy, of course, making a joke about the fact that it was adjusted. It did do that. For Enhanced 10, it did that to everything on your opponent's side of the board.
I couldn't say it with a straight face.
But I think, honestly, what they should have done is kept the Enhance for 10, but give it like an endgame presence, like summon a 5/5 with Storm. If you enhance it for 10, you get to blow something up, and you get that Odin type effect.
Give it an additional effect that wasn't just a board-wide banish.
Right.
Which is really good.
And it costs 6. 6 is a lot for that effect. Like having it be 5 would have been fine. But in its current state, Griffin still finds use for it, so we'll see if it gets him any advantage this game. He does have the removal, and he does have some ramp, so it's not like he has a bad start against this, and it's not like Trickster has the Belphegor yet.
Definitely wants to ramp, and the Urias is not as impactful as it would be in previous matches we've seen, but it's still kind of annoying. You play a pure hearted Stinger, it can't really deal with it.
It's still good. So it's actually better against the decks that do play more of the low drops, like the Dragon Summoners and things like that. But because Griffin isn't, he's a little bit more protected against it. However,
this is dangerous here, no matter what class you play. When you have 2 Urises behind a Spiderweb Imp, that gets dangerous.
Yikes.
And you have really small amounts of options. That Breath of the Salamander can only take down one of them. And that's an expensive
and if you don't save it for turn 6, you don't really have a wide board wipe as well. And you're just going to have to Lightning Blast on turn 6? I know that's not going to feel good.
That's what it was for. The Lightning Blast.
Yeah, looks like he is going to save it for the following turn. And yeah, these Uriases are doing work.
Oh my gosh, they're just going to stay. And that means at least one more drop of a card. Which again, Griffin is already at 10.
All Trickster needs is another Razor Claw or something like that to finish this game off.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. 8 damage here.
And he's got another Spiderweb. Now, granted, this board will get taken care of because of the Breath of the Salamander. But
so how should he evolve best? I guess the Urias, that's 1/2. If he evolves that, that'll actually avoid a good bit of.
You have to do it that way. Yep. You need both Uriasas.
Uriasa.
Yeah, Uriasa.
Uriasa.
Yeah, you have to get them both into a place that they can't be eaten by the second half of the Breath of the
The
Salamander.
big thing about this Breath of the Salamander, too, is because of the way this Urias board is set up, if you Breath of the Salamander Urias, the spiderweb imp is still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still warding up.
This is bad. You've got to get the big Urias.
Oh, man.
And then you just, yeah, this is it. And then, of course, we already know that the game's over in hand on the side of Trickster. So
if you place the Hawk Wheel, it just destroys you.
yeah.
Needs a way to clear off the Pure-Hearted Singer.
Well, no, this game's over.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about this part. I was thinking, oh, Urias just stays there. It doesn't even
Yeah,
swing. But
doesn't even matter.
yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Gosh. That we've seen Urias boards go off today, and Dragon is actually one of the decks that is less affected by it too.
Oh, absolutely. But again, like you said, with these pure-hearted singers and other just cheap options, Ayala, you have to play stuff in order to get some advantage. Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. This.
Why are you hitting yourself? Stop
yeah,
hitting yourself.
This is just rough. So like Griffin, of course, like you don't like to see hands like that where you play 2 tech cards in Lightning Blast,
Yeah.
and then they just show up in your hand against an aggro matchup when you're on the draw. Like that does not feel good.
Yeah.
You need better options than that.
Yeah, and I think he was playing exactly 2 Lightning Blasts as well.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah,
like
he's playing 2, drew both of them. But that's a cost, right? When you play cards that are very expensive, that have very limited use, and you need to draw an anti-aggro hand, sometimes you're just going to get left with stuff that you don't like.
Griffin opted to jump over to his Shadowcraft deck. Very nice. I think it's very appropriate that he has the Carrot as the card back there. Throws away 2 Demon Eaters. It gets a less unplayable hand.
Yeah, this is not very good. And we see mid-range Shadowcraft be kind of all over the place with their 3 drops very specifically, whether they're playing Kaizas or they're playing, of course, what we saw in the last match, in the one that produces 1/1 Ghosts when other followers die, or if they're playing Goblin Mage, you know, whatever they want to do. I still play Grimnir because I'm an old soul.
Yes.
I still like Grimnir. But
Grimnir's great.
But people opt for more card advantage type cards, and I cannot blame them. Kaiza and Goblin Mage are both good. I think, honestly, in this deck, Kaiza might be a little better than Goblin Mage because tutoring for a 2-drop in this deck doesn't really feel amazing. All of your 2-drops are good, but I don't know. A 2/2 that can't be removed seems like really good
man.
value.
Wow. Okay. Does not want to deal with that at all.
I can respect it. When you're on the draw in these mid-range games, a lot of times it's about just, if you're on the draw, just remove your opponent's followers. Don't give them a chance to get ahead of you on board, because the second they do, it gets really hard to come back. Unless you have, of course, Saris in your deck. And I'm keep bringing this up.
Where is Saris?
Where is Saris?
Where did she go?
Where?
She went on vacation.
Yeah, she's sipping some Mai Tais on a beach somewhere.
That sounds good. We want to get Mai Tais?
Yeah, just
We
really
can actually go
relaxing.
down to the beach after this.
Oh, that's
Just
right.
take a drive, yeah.
That's right. I'm not used to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Arizona. Now I'm in California.
Yeah.
There's a
Typically, I
beach
don't
here.
go to the beach because I literally just start like turning into sand.
Yeah.
When
You
the
just
sun
dry
strikes
up?
my skin,
Yeah.
you know, I can't go outdoors.
Moisture gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means I'm a vampire or something.
I don't know either. If you turn to dust from the sun, that probably means you're a vampire, and I'm a little bit more scared now. But I'll take my chances. At least just turn me, don't kill me. Okay, okay, Rainey.
So that you can live the cool
Yeah.
life of being a vampire.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
All right. So here we go. The Soul Squasher again. We've seen another Soul Squasher thrown to the jaws of the wolf because there's just not the opportunity to play her in her most desired fashion.
Again, a reason why I've reduced Soul Squasher to 1 of in my deck. I don't like her stat line. I think her ability comes in very not very often, rather. I was going to say very often. Not very often. And mostly because you just have better options to deal with cards these days. Like I said, like Saris, I would much rather play on turn 4 to answer an evolved follower of my opponent that just crashed into one of mine, because then I have just this big board presence. You play the Soul Squasher, you're getting rid of 4 shadows on your way up to Ektar. That does not feel good. It never feels good.
Yeah. Almost the only turns where it feels good is when you don't draw it in kind of like a dragon matchup, right? And
Sure.
You're able to take down
Sure.
like an Israfil that was evolved or something like
Yes.
that. That's kind of one of the best case scenarios for it, but
That's why the 1 of, though. You have
Yeah.
plenty of card draw on the deck. You only really need 1 of its effect ever in a game. You're never really going to have 8 shadows in turns like 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, you know, or 4,
Nobody
5, 6
plays Dark Angel Olivia. She's just hanging out here, you know. There's
Right.
only ever going to be so many evolves in a game.
Right.
You'll be fine.
And it looks like the value game is just going for both of these players right now.
Yeah.
We draw more cards. Keep ahead on board.
What do you think food acts like in Demon Eater's eyes? When she said food should act like food. What is that? What do you think that means to her?
I think she eats things, right? She eats like living beings and or even ghouls. They
Oh,
probably
you're
run
right.
or are scared, and then
Yeah.
she just eats them anyway.
Yeah, and that's how she believes food acts.
Well, she wants them to just act like food, but they're not.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, she's scary.
Yeah.
Like realistically, very scary monster.
Yeah.
Demon Eater is.
But actually,
Yeah.
it's a 1/2.
Yeah, it's just a 1/2. Yeah, yeah.
Not scary for the reasons of her just being there, but scary
Right.
because of the buddies that she calls.
That's right. The fact that, like, what kind of a stomach would you need to eat demons?
Yeah. Specifically a demon eater.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
does that mean she eats demons, or does that mean she's somebody who eats things and is a demon?
Or is she like a Constantine that, like, takes the bad out of you? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Then
she
that's like
eats
kind of
your
like a welcome
demons.
thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
you know those fish pools where like the little fishies eat the dead skin off your feet?
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like
It's
that?
symbiotic. It's
Yeah.
good for you. It heals your soul.
Have you ever done that before?
No.
We should do that. So next time we're in Japan.
We can go into a fish tank where little fishies eat stuff off of our body.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
That is.
I don't know about
a little
this.
bit queasy.
Chat, help me. Help me.
a little bit queasy.
All right. So
There's
now
that boy, the Skeleton Prince.
the Battle of the Odiles. This is a card that we have not seen in our Shadow matchups in a little while, but a card that you definitely want to include in your deck if you're playing in competitive play right now because of its board wiping properties.
There it is. Oh, Odile has looked pretty good in certain board states. And this is going to pop the last word effect, and the skeleton thinks that it's going to survive, finds its buddy, and both of them are like, sorry, man, you came at the wrong time.
And you see Trickster praying, and you know what this prayer is? Please don't have the answer back, Odile. That's what that prayer is, but of course Griffin does. Yes. As a matter of fact, I believe he has 2 in hand right now.
Blup, blup, blup. Griffin really thinking about it.
Deciding whether or not he wants to do that or make some kind of
It's
a skull
just
ring
such a
play.
good play.
I just can't see any other way around it. It does leave Trickster with a 1/1 though that can deal with the Odile, which Trickster did not have to leave for Griffin. It's kind of unfortunate, but leaving a 1/1 in play, dealing with the board, seems fine.
Yeah. It's interesting, too, when we think about going first, going second. Again, Griffin is the player on the play and has actually the last evolution orb. So I do actually think that constructing your play to take advantage of that is something to think about, right? Whereas if you play the Odile, you are basically eliminating the threat, yes, but also passing the turn.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. You do get 2 damage in as well, so that's another reason why Odile is really good, is that even if you're passing your turn, you still get some work done against your opponent's life. So it's nice. It's nice. And this, like, both players have all the options they need. They both have, you know, Ektars. They both have Odiles. Trickster over here already has Aisha.
This is a hero skeleton right here.
Yeah, that'll probably get jammed in. I don't really see Odile here.
Be brave, skeleton.
And then just a skeleton prince.
I know the
answer
lady
up.
is very pretty.
Wasn't I good enough?
Yeah, skeleton prince, easy.
Okay, so now we're basically, we flip-flopped, right?
Yep.
The skeleton prince now.
And honestly, this is just like we were saying it's gonna go. It's just board wipe against board wipe. Who can keep the most things in play? Neither player in danger of Aisha actually ending the game at the moment. And this is why cards like Skeleton Prince are actually super important in the deck. Like, you need ways outside of Prince Catacomb just to ensure that not only A, are you building shadows, but B, you just have constant board presence so you can eventually get bonuses off of your Ektar and things like that.
All right. I do think the turns are a little more ambiguous for Griffin. Probably because he is setting the tempo, and I don't think there's a very clear indication of where the best options are to go to.
Right.
Whereas Trickster has just been able to respond and remove.
Ooh, see, I really like this play. I really like it because it basically says, I am going to take over the board. However, Trickster has the other O-Dial in hand.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Just look at all these options. They had a Kawi.
Well, there's
Whole
two
kitchen
opportunities for those Bellanai, the Uri and the Bellanai.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Two options for the Bellanai to hit the O-Dial.
It's
right?
true. It's true, but there are other things in play.
Uh-huh.
And he can actually
What is the
increase that to
statistics
Electric
there?
Corpse.
So, 3 choices, 3 options, 2 picks.
Well, you have a 1 in 33% chance, and you have that. It just repeating, right?
So it actually, because if it doesn't get the correct answer, then it becomes 1 of 2, right?
But it resets for the second one. It doesn't go off of the same thing, right? So it's 1 in 3 followed by a 1 in 3. So it's just a 1 in 3 chance.
Is that right? No, both Bellanuses can actually, they will never hit the same target, right?
If they both hit the same target, that's a even less % chance. That's like a 1
But
in.
they can't do that, right? Wait, I'm confused. So okay, wow,
What are
math
we even-
math
what are
on
we
the
even- what are we
Shadowverse
even
Open.
talking about
Math
anymore?
on the Shadowverse Open, right?
know-
So this O-Dial swings into that O-Dial,
Yeah.
whatever, and
Yeah.
so there's
O-Dial.
3 followers at one defense on the side of Trickster's board. Both the Bellanuses will actually have their last word effect pop,
Yeah.
right? Assuming the Andrew Alphas was in there, the first Bellanus is going to hit a 1/1, and so that leaves just 2 more 1/1s if the Andrew Alphas was in there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I like this way better. You know what? That was all right. I'm gonna go back
Don't
to.
let the O-Dial get
I'll
to
talk
1
to you about it
defense.
off stream.
Yeah, please
But that
do.
was a great play from Trickster because now he's left with a 6/5
Yeah.
O-Dial.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Trickster just says, I want O-Dial dominance. If you try to play another O-Dial against me, it's not going to be as effective because then you're either going to have to let my O-Dial live or my O-Det live.
Look, I'm drawing a picture for you so we can readdress this later.
Okay. Perfect. I love math stuff when we're not on the fly.
I love math stuff when we're on the fly.
All right, and Griffin having to use a defensive Ektar, and we saw that not go so well for the Jordy last time. So
I think a lot of it is, especially when you have this many cards in hand, you can think of very creative, efficient ways of dealing with the Ektar that doesn't necessarily go into that whole Bahamut, you Bahamut, I Bahamut, we Bahamut thing, right?
that's true. However, Griffin, unlike the Jordude, has plenty of shadows to work with for this endgame, so he's not really constrained to not having to play these Ektars when he wants to, which is great.
It is interesting to think about in terms of, oh my god.
That play still exists, by the way, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Lurching Corpse
It is
Necro
interesting to
Assassin.
think about. You are 1 defense away, and there is 15 shadows. If you do not do anything this turn to entirely wipe out this board here, you're done.
Yeah, and we see Bad Katha again. It is just like probably a one of in these mid-range Shadowcraft decks.
I guess O-Dial is the... No, yeah, it has to be this way.
Interesting. Playing the Skull Ring, I guess it's. I mean, you can't even play the Bad Katha. That will have its enhance effect. That's rough. Getting rid of one of those 4/2s.
Whoa!
The
Whoa,
dots.
Trickster!
The dots.
Trickster knows what's up. The interesting thing is, it's not quite, right? You still need
It's
a
not
follower
over?
to do 1 damage, unless you
need
draw
1 damage.
another Aisha. Have enough shadows to throw down a Nectar yourself.
I think that was too early of a taunt. I think he thought he had the game this turn, and just like, ah ha ha, and then he's like, oh, 11, not 10. Got it. So, of course, what we're talking about is Aisha. If you guys are not familiar with that card, which you should all be by now, 10 play, 0.54. If you enhance it for 10, gain Storm. If you have 10 shadows, you can attack twice. Albert for Shadowcraft. A little bit better than Albert, I'd say, because you don't need the Evolution Orb to make it work.
It is always active given the circumstances.
Mhm.
A turn later, but I think the evolve on the Necromancy effect is incredibly powerful.
That's right. Basically, you evolve it, and her evolve side lets you attack 2 times. Yeah, so it's all of those things.
A
and
very
above.
flexible card.
Yep, and we've seen it used defensively very well. We haven't seen it end the game yet, but this might be the first game. It really just depends on how Trickster can manage to get this 1 damage through. Honestly, I feel like he can do it with some combination of Prince Catacomb this turn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You hiding inside?
Interesting. Why didn't he play Delirial?
Yeah, I'm not sure why not. Because you can 4 last words. You can't ever 5 last words because that will basically fill up your board. make a skeleton or a zombie or whatever the effect might be. So you never want to board lock yourself. We've seen many players get into the situation where they board lock themselves without having lethal in play.
But this passes the turnover. Oh my god! If he had one more shadow generator, the game would have just been over. And I think Bad Catha might just be too late.
That's true. So close this game.
Is there a way for him
shadows
to
away.
eliminate his own Thane? Odala has to be. Nice.
Actually, Odell's perfect.
Yeah.
This puts him in a perfect situation. Okay, so exactly what I was talking about. Because he did not put the extra 2-drop in play on top of the Prince Catacomb, he will not have a follower left over this turn, which would have won him the game.
Ooh, Trickster is tricking us.
And this will put Griffin in a position to win next turn with his Aisha.
Yeah.
So all because Trickster failed to play one other thing before Prince Catacomb, this game could just end with Griffin winning. That's how important these choices are, folks, at the end of the game.
Oh, boy.
Of course, we do see a Kawi, which is probably just a one-of, and that Kawi's going to possibly do a lot of work here.
Wow, just plays the Bad Catha at the lower play point value. Interesting.
Don't let the light blind you.
Interesting. That basically gives Kawi more healing. I guess it didn't matter because it was going to full heal.
Yeah, Kawi's actually kind of rough for Griffin here.
Needs to... Well, Kawi would certainly save him, right?
They're so fresh. Wasn't I
Interesting choice to Soul Squash. I mean, you have plenty of shadows, so the shadows don't matter anymore. It's
I
more
think he just didn't want... Okay. No, yeah, you're right.
Because if you play Kawi now, then it gains you 2, which is fine. But definitely doesn't put you out of range of just win. Okay, doesn't even go for any of that.
Oh, this is so dangerous. But the wide board continues to be very difficult, I think.
Yeah, and honestly speaking, that Fall from Grace is not going to be enough to heal him out of range of the Aisha follow-up attack next turn. So Trickster definitely managed to keep his opponent away from finishing off with Aisha.
Is there no way to Fall from Grace and Zombie Party your way out? You can...
Let's see. Well, you can trade. Destroy one. Fall from Grace.
Fall from Grace could get rid of the Soul Squasher.
And then you're at
2
12.
zombie parties can take down the
2 zombie parties. Yeah, actually, you can survive this turn while actually gaining 1.
I think that's going to be the choice. Griffin, make it happen! Fall from Grace for the first time on the Shadowverse Open. Is that true? I don't think we've seen Fall from Grace on the Shadowverse Open played yet.
I don't know if we've actually seen it played, but we know that we've seen it in decks. Remember, there was a certain someone playing 3 of each in his deck.
Okay,
or 3 Fall from Grace in all of his decks. Yeah.
Interesting. He chose to keep his own Soul Squasher. Opted to play the Lurching Corpse instead. So he wanted to maintain the 2-1. And what does this mean for Trickster here? Now again, and
this is rough.
Look how rough it feels to play Thane in this situation. Just too expensive to play alongside other things now, and you just can't get it down.
Well, a lot of the lists actually have cut Thane from the deck. Before it was 3 of auto include in every deck, then it became a 2 of, and now it's a 1 of maybe.
Yeah.
Just because it's too slow.
And we're back basically to square one of like, okay, Griffin, now you're all out of options. You need a top deck something, and that's not it.
Yeah, that's not it.
That's not it.
So Trickster, while giving Griffin all of those extra turns, Griffin doesn't really have a way to turn the corner to deal that extra 5 damage before he can play the Aisha, unfortunately.
And it's really interesting because when we're talking about on the play, on the draw, Trickster on the draw had the tempo of the game starting from pretty much the mid-game all the way up until now. That health advantage informing how his Aisha could play. You know, it wasn't a race to that 10 play point range. Right.
It was just control of the board. So now we've seen Shadowcraft and the Mirror win on the play and the draw, and again, it's gonna I'm gonna call back to the point of that's what this match is. It's just who can draw better, who basically can keep the board full and make their opponent play into them.
Yep. There it is, the Aisha to close things out, gets the double strike, and all it takes is a zombie or a Lariel alongside the Aisha for 2 hits. but more than enough damage on board, and Trickster is going to close things out. Griffin moves down to the loser's bracket, and so our winners finals is set. Auto Aim versus Trickster.
So I'm pretty sure that cements Trickster to making himself back into the top 8, or if he ever was at least into the top 8. He was 10. This will probably move him up at least 2 slots. So
yeah.
Trickster, another name to watch out for going into this regional finals, perhaps.
Yeah, I think he played very solid. I think he chose